What is going on, guys? I'm with Stav. And before we jump into today's episode, I'm now with the mythological runner from the northern suburbs.
Thanks a
Man,
lot, Kristian, man.
This guy, if for those of you that don't know, what are you into at the moment? Because, man, I see you all the time running in the northern suburbs, bro. You're like the mythical creature, bro.
Oh, yeah, well, either the mythical or the crazy person that runs on the road. So at the moment, I'm kind of doing a lot of ultra marathons. I've recently completed my first Ironman, so I was doing a lot of triathlon training prior to that. But yeah, my major, if I was to choose a sport, it would definitely be in the ultra marathon space. Yeah.
How did you get into running?
That's a good question. So I was thinking about what fueled my passion for running, and it'll probably go back to when I was in year 8. I was 13 years old. I was always into sports, always playing soccer, footy, even track I love too, especially 400, 800 meters. Anyway, it was pre-season, and as a 12-year-old, when there's no training on, what else are you going to do except probably play video games and also just do a few sessions with the boys, as in like go kick the ball sometimes. Anyway, I remember one time my dad came up to me. He's like, season starts in 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, it does. He's like, you know what the best thing to do, yeah? I'm like, oh, what's that? He's like, get better shaping than the other players. Go for a run around the block. I'm like, run around the block? I said to him, what do you mean, just run around the block? He's like, yeah, it's 800 meters. Do it. See if you can do it. Anyway, first session I did it. Basically, all I remember was starting at my house, going down.
Can I just ask how old you were at this time?
I was about 12 years old.
12 years old, okay.
I was 12. So went down the street. We lived on top of a hill, so we'll go down and up. I remember my first few sessions was basically I'd get to 400 meters, would stop, walk for another 100 meters, then go up the hill.
Yeah.
And that was my running session, 800 meters. I did that for about 2 weeks. I'm not quite sure. And then I thought to myself, all right, what I'll do is I'll do it nonstop. Did it nonstop. I'm like, all right, I'll extend it by 20 meters every day. So I extended my runs every day for 20 meters, and 800 led to 2Ks, 4Ks, 6, 10, 20. And then
so you just gradually got better, like your body adapted to it. And yeah, man, like, yeah, you've got a passion for it, bro. Like you've definitely got, I think, it's like but it's a lifestyle for you. It's a lifestyle.
It's something that's like incorporated in my daily routine. So a lot of people see running as training or exercising to reach their goals. I see it as a form of meditation and something that kind of having your coffee before you start the day kind of a thing.
Yeah.
If I don't go for a run, my day's a bit of all over the shop, discombobulated.
Why is it a meditation for you?
It puts me in a better headspace. After I finish running, I usually have more clear and direction in how I'm going to lead my day. So everything seems like it's a bit more in place in my head. Once I finish my run, I'm like, all right, done. Now I've got to go straight to work, shower, work, this, training, strength training, do the laundry, and so forth and so forth. So it kind of gives me that mental edge of knowing what I have to do.
Okay. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you when you were running? Like I'm talking like I don't know, sometimes when I go running I have to take a shit and then sometimes like that's probably the worst thing. People don't understand that, for me. So have you been in that situation before?
I've shit my pants.
You
did it, man. That's called the run. If you run, every runner has that fucking problem, man. Like, I've probably gone to every McDonald's and BP to go to the toilet. Like, shit. So that's definitely something in the norm. There's a lot of crazy things that happen to me when I've been running. I've been hit by a car 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got hit.
Wait, can you talk us through that? Like maybe later or now or like
whenever you want, man.
Yeah.
100%.
How did that go? Like someone hit you in the car, they're trying to kill you, or they just?
Well, I'm a dickhead basically when I run. So not only do I not run on the side path, I run on the fucking road. I'm oncoming traffic. I used to run at night time a lot, which is not good, especially when I was younger. because after school, after doing my homework, and so forth. So the first incident was when I was probably 16. A car went through a stop sign, and basically I ran, and I just saw him in the nick of time. So I stepped back, but he ran over my feet. That was the first time, and I got so scared that I just kept running because I thought my mum was going to bash me if she found out. Third time was it was at a train track. I forgot which one it was. I think it was Thornbury Station. I crossed the train station.
Wait, hang on. The car ran over your toes.
Yeah, ran over both my feet. I had black feet for a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that's a painful.
Oh, it's painful.
What type of car was it?
Oh, I can't remember, man. I think it was about a 4-wheel drive or something like that. I really can't remember. It was night time. I was scared my mom was going to bash me. I'm going to keep repeating that. So I just kept bolting and running.
Okay.
The second time was Thornbury Station. So at Thornbury Station, and the incident was basically I went across the road, a car didn't see me, and I knocked its side mirror off and I landed on his windscreen. I was fine, nothing happened. And basically I said to him and he said to me, we won't do anything about it, just keep running. I'm like, yeah, okay, because I kind of smashed his windscreen.
Okay.
Third time wasn't that bad actually. Third time was basically, it wasn't even a car accident. I was running and there was a parked car and a guy opened his door and didn't see me, so I went right through his car door and
That's pretty full. Yeah, that's full on, man. Like
it happens, man. If you run every day on the fucking road, like shit's gonna happen like that.
Yeah, because like, where are you meant to run? Like, are you meant to run on the path or on the road? Like,
see, the thing
because
is,
you can take the bike lane, right? You take the bicycle lane.
Yeah, I do. I take the bicycle lane. It's very like running on the side path. It's hard because you got to dodge it. You got to dodge pedestrians all the time, and it can get very annoying. So I decided to take the bike lane, but I do it on the oncoming traffic so they can see me.
Okay.
Because they can see where I'm coming from. It's not I don't advise any of this shit, by the way. Don't run on the road. It's very bad. And there's a lot of people out there that don't really.
What if you want to race the tram? Like, when you're a little kid and you want to run after the, you know what I mean? Like,
I used to do that a lot too. Yeah. So I will see when the tram will stop, and then I'll bolt past it. Don't do that either because you might run into someone. But yeah, it's fun.
That's all part of the training. That's all part of everything, man. And tell the audience, like, you've just recently completed an Ironman. So for those of you that don't know, what makes up the Ironman?
So I only did the half Ironman. Okay. So what consists of an Ironman is it's a triathlon.
Okay.
Swim, bike, run. So for the half, it's a 1.9 kilometer swim. Then it's straight onto the 90 kilometer cycle.
Yeah.
And then straight onto a half marathon, which is 21.1 kilometers.
Okay. What's the sacrifice that you have to make? Because you're working full time at the moment.
Yeah.
And sacrifice must be a big thing for you. What does sacrifice mean for you?
Sacrifice, especially for training like this for an Ironman or an event, is immense on your social life.
Okay.
So you do have to go into that mode where you become a bit of a hermit. And you stay close to your friends via text messages, calls, and so forth. But when it comes to social events, because you're training, you kind of have to miss a fair few. It also becomes a bit demanding mentally than it does physically because you want to see your friends, you want to see your family, but this event has to take place and you have that in your mind.
For sure.
So the biggest sacrifice would be social definitely.
Yeah, because you're in a relationship at the moment, and you hope that's all going well. So I don't want to really. Is that something we can go down on the podcast?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, all right.
She doesn't understand that much English. No.
All right. How long have you been in a relationship for?
So I've been with my missus for 2 years now.
2 years.
Her name's Mayumi. She's actually from Japan. She was raised in Osaka. She's been here for about 4 years now. We met 2 years ago through a dare. Someone said to me at Commonwealth Bank, there's a yoga teacher who's way fitter than you.
Okay.
Show me a photo. Cole's kind into Asians. So I said to him, I'll add her on Facebook, basically saying, nah, she won't accept you. No chance at in hell. I just got out of a 9-year relationship back then, by the way. So this is during my single period. So I added her, tell her, oh, by the way, she accepted. She's like, yeah, out of niceness, she accepted you. Sent her a message. The messages were a bit basic because English is a second language. Even though she's very good at English, it's very hard to speak to someone who's kind of from a foreign country. Yeah. But took her out for dinner, Japanese, of course. One thing led to another. And yeah, we ended up being in a relationship, and we've been living together for about 1.5 years now.
That's a nice story.
Oh, thanks.
It's like I used to do yoga with Stav. In case that's how we kind of know each other. Yeah, and man, like how's yoga going? Like, are you still?
Man, I'd rather run 100 kilometers to do yoga. It's very good for you, but it's actually immensely good for you. It's probably one of the best things, but I honestly don't have the mental capacity or tolerance to go through it. Like, I find it painful, man. Like, I'm stiff as a board.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you'll know, you've been doing it for a while. Bikram yoga is actually so good for you.
Yeah, it's I couldn't recommend it enough. And for those watching who have never tried Bikram yoga, so you're basically in a hot room for it's like 1.5 hours, and then you do a series of poses, and yeah, you just sweat out everything. I'm not a master or anything. There's better people. That's all I know at the moment. So yeah. And speaking of yoga, speaking of that realm, I want to kind of unpack your mind a little bit more, and I want to go deep, man.
Go for it,
Let's go deep, and I want to. What goes through your mind when you run, like when you just did the half Ironman? What was going through your head at that stage, like throughout the race?
Not to drown.
Not to drown, yeah.
No, because I'm not from a triathlon background. So when I did enter the Ironman, unfortunately due to Corona, it's been deferred 3 times. Okay. I entered with the intentions around middle last year, I think it was. So I never had a cycling or swimming background. So I taught my own self to swim and cycle. I'm not going to say I did the best job, but I started from only doing 125-meter lap and breathing out of my ass to trying to do 1.9K in ocean water swim. So the funny thing about the actual Ironman was it's 3 legs, of course, as I mentioned: swim, cycle, run. So unlike a marathon or ultra marathon, you're not continuously doing the same thing over a period of time, which means you have less time to think in the Ironman. So during the swim, when I was fucking gulping seawater and coming last, I came last actually. The cut-off time was 1 hour and 10 minutes. I did it 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at one stage, I had the lifesaver come up to me, ask me, "Are you okay?" And I asked him, am I okay? I don't know. Do I look okay? He's like, "Yeah, you're fine. Do you want to?" I'm like, "I'm going to finish." They're like, "Yeah, you'll finish." And I think they're like, "He's not going to finish." Anyway, during the swim, I was just thinking to myself, all I have to do is just stroke, drink seawater, stroke, drink seawater. So during that, it went fast. When I got out of the water, the first thing I did was regurgitate all the seawater. There's so much in your stomach. But then after that, so the swim was during 6 a.m. So it was a bit dark and cold. So you don't really think during the transition period. So you finish the swim, you go to your bike and you start the bike, and you have your bike shit underneath to save time.
Okay.
So you strip down, you're freezing your core off. In fact, my teeth were still jittering after 20 Ks on the bike. Then on the bike, you feel sweet. And unfortunately, the one thing about the Ironman is because it's actually just a professional, it's one of the most prestigious races. They're very strict, so you can't listen to music or have AirPods or earphones or anything.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to kind of do a 6 hour, or it took me about 6 hours, a 6 hour event with nothing but your thoughts, which I thought was the hardest bit. Before the Ironman, I don't know how I'm going to do this, because I love listening to music when I run and do my races. It's one thing that helps me a lot. But surprisingly, when I was doing it, especially during the cycle, you kind of don't need music. You talk to yourself. a lot. Well, I
Yeah.
was talking to myself a lot.
Yeah.
I was putting myself in better moods. Like I was making jokes and I was everything like that. Like I was kind of like saying to myself when I was kind of struggling, like I was like, fuck, this is actually the biggest bullshit I've ever done. Imagine if my wheels popped and I face planted, that'd be fucking funny. So I started pissing my pants. I don't know why. But the race for the cycling bit was good. A lot of headwind and I did okay in it, but there's a lot of people out there with like, the funny thing about cycling is if you have a really good bike, a fucking really good bike, the faster you go. So
Okay.
I had an $800 bike and I was competing against people with like $15,000 bikes. So that was a bit of it did hurt my ego a lot, especially the swim and the cycle because I saw people passing me and I was getting very irritated. I'm a very competitive person.
Okay.
But after the cycle, the run was coming up. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know how I'm going to pull up on a run after doing a 90K cycle, but I know for a fact this is my zone. This is me. So I'm just going to do whatever I can. As soon as I got off the bike, I came top 4 in the running league against the professionals. So I hit a PB.
Damn.
I got about 110 half marathon and I wasn't thinking then. I was just, that
was all you. Yeah, that was like, yeah.
Yeah,
that was your element. That's your wheelhouse. That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
that's your strength. Yeah.
That's my wheelhouse. Like that's where I was supposed to be, and I knew what I had to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, I had no thoughts when I was running. I just went out with nothing to think about. I'm like, I don't know what to
man.
do.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking power to that,
Thanks,
bro. Like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, for sure,
Thanks,
man.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, because for those of you that don't know, I actually ran a little bit with Stav and almost got run over by the tram.
You did a hectic job,
yeah, I did a
man.
hectic job, yeah.
I smashed it, man. I've never been so like you guys probably even know you did the 4x4 by 48 challenge a while ago, yeah? Or
that's right, yeah.
2 weeks ago, yeah?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, yeah.
You smashed it, man. Like,
yeah.
Not many people could do that from a non-run background, I'm telling you. Like, you've got that mental strength to do it and the physicality, of course. So running is not just also all about your physical and always doing it to kiss you, it's about your mind, man.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting pushing the mind, and I guess it's funny, like on the other side, like people that say they don't want to push themselves, and maybe someone who's not motivated, like how do you meet many people like that? Do you see people like that?
I do. I've had a lot of people come up to me. A very lot of people come up to me and tell me that. The best thing I say to them is, okay, like I'm not expecting you to go run every day or go to the gym every day or do 90 minutes of strenuous exercise every day.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something to keep the blood flowing and the muscles going every day, that's better than anything in the world, I'll say to them. Like, never put yourself down as long as you do it. As long as you're moving the body. The body needs to be moved, that's it.
Yeah. For sure. And what about things like diet, nutrition?
So my diet's very weird. So my diet's like, it's fucking weird.
Do you eat Tim Tams before you run, or like what? I don't know, man. Like
I basically what I do is I definitely eat a lot of protein.
Okay.
I get my protein from my meats. I'm a meat person, but probably like white lean meat. So like fish, like chicken, turkey. I eat a lot of swordfish. I eat a lot of fish because it's easy on the stomach.
Okay.
I have red meat probably every fortnight because I've noticed lately that red meat kind of just sits in my stomach and makes me feel heavy.
Yeah.
Because I'm always on the go. I have to have something that kind of like is easy to digest. Okay. So I eat a lot of vegetables, especially green low carb vegetables. Fruit is something that I love as well. And I've got a massive sweet tooth. So I usually carb up every night.
Okay.
So like at 11 o'clock, I'll have like 2 loaves of hot cross buns with butter and honey and jam.
Okay, so is that your favorite? Is that Stav's specialty favorite? Or like what's your like go-to dessert, man? You craving dessert? Craving something sweet?
Oh, it'd have to be hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns?
I love chocolate hot cross buns, man. Butter.
Butter?
Like slap them on the butter, toast the hot cross buns, melted chocolate chips in there, bro. You can't go wrong.
Okay, so you're more chocolate chip then.
Yeah.
You're like, not the sultanas.
Also, I love the sultanas too, but if it was supposed to be something dirty and like hot chocolate hot cross buns, man. Yeah.
Why not? Why not? All right. So I guess like, yeah, you're running so much that you can eat almost anything you want. Like
Yeah, so that is something. So usually it's not good to eat like high sugars and everything like that. Definitely not. Like I don't recommend eating a loaf of hot cross buns, chocolate with butter and everything. But I burn a lot of calories, so I kind of need that as fuel. I see it as fuel. Food for me is like a luxury, but it's also something I use for fuel. So I'm going to understand what the micro and macronutrients are in there and how it's going to help me, kind of thing.
Do you track your calories?
I don't track my calories because I don't have time.
Bro, don't you think that people that track their calories, they're going too far, or you reckon it's for a specific purpose? Like, what's your opinion on that? People who track their calories.
My honest opinion about people tracking their calories, it's a great platform to have at the start when you are trying to lose weight. But like once you've reached your goal, it's not good to keep. I personally don't reckon tracking calories for the rest of your life is a good thing. Like at the end of the day, as long as you're getting the right proteins, fats, and carbs in, and you're doing enough exercise to have the calories in, calories out, and you understand the basic calories you've had that day, that's fine. But I don't know, like honestly, when it comes to like some people that want to do professional bodybuilding or fitness modeling, by all means, tracking your calories, tracking every gram is a necessity. But for your everyday person that just wants to reach their goals, like, and you find it too much to track calories, just don't worry about it, man. I reckon.
Cool. All right. And what's your are you working as a personal trainer at the moment, or you kind of, because I see you mate on your socials, you're just doing a few different things and not really.
I'm currently in a bit of a mist. So I used to be in the bank for about 5 years. I quit November last year. It was my full-time job, main income source, but I realized to myself that this is kind of something that I've had an experience in, and I left because I want to explore other avenues. Yeah. So in the meantime, I was doing a lot of like off and on jobs. So I did concreting for about 2-3 weeks for 10 hours. It was too much. So I'm like, props to them, especially the islanders who can lift 200 kilos slabs of concrete, and I can only lift 1 kilo. But it was not my cup of tea. So from then on, I was doing a lot of my main goal is to kind of get into my apprenticeship for an electrician.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I was doing a lot of gym work. So I'm doing personal training for Reservoir Leisure Centre. I'm also a pizza maker at the Garnies as well for my night job. So I'm kind of like, in this current status, I haven't got a career, or I just have bits and pieces of a job at the moment. So just trying to that's something I'm trying to grow in, to find out what I need to really do to find my next move.
It's pretty tough, man, to know what you want to do in life.
Oh yeah.
It's it's like a big decision to make, and then everyone says you should already have it figured out, like you should already know everything. I think you got to take it easy and smell the roses or something. And
oh man, well, once I quit the bank, you got to realize something. Like a career is a career. It's great to have one. It's great to love what you do for work, but it's also not the be all end all.
Okay.
So look, as long as you're happy, you're healthy, you have some sort of income stream, and you're actually spending time with the people you love and your friends, that's way more important than stressing over what your stable career is going to be.
Yeah, right.
I'm I'll just say it straight out, I'm not a materialistic person. Like if people want to work 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week and have Mercs and everything like that, by all means, that's them. They could, I have nothing against them, but life is very, very short and unknown. Everyone will know during COVID, like the unexpected can always happen, and that's life. Like you never know what will happen, and you got to do stuff that makes you happy and healthy too. Yeah. And just have trust in yourself too, and never do a job or a career because external forces are telling you to.
For sure. Absolutely agree. And
There's always Centrelink, dude.
Oh man. And all right, so we've kind of gone over the nutrition, the diet plans, all these plans, and we kind of, I don't know, for people that like to follow running, there's a guy, Janis Kuros. I'm gonna just share the screen. Maybe you can see it. Yeah. So this guy, pull up this guy's record, right? This guy, yeah. Go ahead. What were you gonna say? You gonna say something?
So, for you guys who don't know who Yanis Kuros is, he's actually considered a god in the ultra marathon space. He actually is one of the founders of ultra running. He's got records around the world. He's got the record for the most kilometers done in 24 hours, 48 hours. He's run from Sydney and back 4 times. The amount of kilometers and mileages he's run is more than the distance from the Earth to the Moon.
Say that again.
So he's done more mileages than the distance from the Earth to the Moon.
Okay. Just let that sink in.
From what I read a while ago, so I don't know how true that is, but I kind of have faith in this man's abilities.
So he's got like 48-hour races. Like he's got a lot of gold. He's never. See, that's like when you see like people like David Goggins and all these people. It's funny because there's people better than like. I don't know what you mean by the word better, but like he's run more distance. He's definitely run a lot of Ks. He's put a lot of Ks in the body. So that's the thing with life. There's always levels. There's always kind of someone a step ahead of you, and I'm sure you've experienced that. And it's interesting, like looking like at it from a spiritual point of view. It's like we always want that next thing, that next shiny object, and why? Like, just take it easy. You know, there's always going to be someone more attractive, more money, or more something. Just stay humble, man. Like, just do your thing, and 100%. Yeah, that's just the way I see it. So
100%, I agree with you, Kristian.
Yeah. What's your favorite pizza?
Oh, my favorite pizza is probably a vegetarian with chicken and barbecue sauce.
It's not much of a vegetarian though, isn't it?
Nah, it is. But I like mushrooms. I like capsicum. I'm thinking chuck chicken on there. Yeah, it's nice. I love it, man. Yeah, I love it, man. Froth that. But I like my pizzas aren't the ones the wood fire. My favorite are those kind of like diabetic pizza pies that you get from like the not Domino's, but you get from the old school like 90s like Italian restaurants. You know, the ones with the conveyor belt and they're stacking like just the cheese on top. Man, can't go wrong.
Yeah, right.
Love that, man.
Do you eat it before a race? Oh wait, how much time do you give before you run and you eat?
Okay, so usually I do all my runs fasted.
Okay.
So I usually 7 hours. The only thing I have before a run is a coffee, my vitamins, and also probably a scoop of jam and peanut butter, just to give you that sugar edge and that fatty edge, which is nice. And it's good to have a taste in your mouth. And then after that, I just go for my run. Then after my run, I'll probably straight away have 1 liter of water because I don't drink water when I'm running, which is not a good thing. You should always drink water and stay hydrated, especially for a long endurance activity.
Yeah.
Then after that, I'll probably have something small like some fruit, some simple sugars just to get the glycogen back into the muscles.
Yep. And
then I'll go to work and then do my weight session. Yeah.
Okay. Gatorade? Do you like to drink Gatorade? Or?
I used to not drink a lot of Gatorade, but I have become fond of Gatorade. Okay. I usually get the 0 one because there's too much sugar in the actual big ones. It's like 34 grams of sugar. Okay. And I have like half a liter of honey every night, so I've had enough sugar myself.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's also really good things that I buy from. I go to Aldi a lot because they've got a lot of good stuff cheap. So I get electrolyte tablets.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're good for you. Just chuck 2 in your water and not only are you staying hydrated, but you've got the electrolytes and sodium to keep you going throughout the day as well. Okay. Yeah, so that's one thing a lot of people probably don't do, like check their electrolytes. Maybe that's why you also feel kind of very fatigued or foggy in the arvo. So if you get some electrolytes in you, it kind of like helps you a lot.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Stavros once cooked a kangaroo on a estate. You cook a lot of meat. Like you're a good cook, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So he cooked me a pizza. Like so it was that was good. I mean, what's the next move? Like, what's the next challenge that you're going into at the moment?
So I've always got a race that's coming up. Usually I try to give myself a bit more break because I need to catch up on my social life. But
sure.
sometimes you do get carried away. So the next thing I have is May 1st. I got Wilson's Prom 100 kilometer.
Yeah.
Then in July, I got the Yu Yang's 100 miler. So that's about 106 kilometers. And then throughout the year, I do the Melbourne Marathon every year.
Okay.
Just because I try to get my best time as a marathon runner there. So my goal is to get sub 3 hours in October. So I want to try to get 2:48 in October for the Melbourne Marathon. Then I got the Melbourne Ironman as well. So that's my running calendar.
Do people ever tell you, like, take it easy?
Oh, yeah. Oh, bro. Oh, like, especially my mum. Everyone tells you, it's just like, relax, take it easy. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to get chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
It's just, I know I should take it easy, but it's hard. It's hard, especially if you feel great when you do it.
What drives you?
What drives me is, as in running or training?
Training. Just the whole thing. What drives you to keep going and training?
Sometimes there isn't a drive.
Okay.
There is no drive. It's just, we're creatures of habit. We keep doing stuff that we love and enjoy.
Okay.
We just really love, and I really love training, no matter what form it is.
Okay.
I love doing physical activity, whether it be, or running is my forte, so that's what I do every day. But whether it be strength, swimming, cycling, Muay Thai, calisthenics, yoga, it's something that I always love to do. And I get energy from training a lot. It's not good because it's really not good because sometimes you can over obsess with it and you can consume a lot of time in the day, and you look at the clock and you're like, oh shit, it's already 6 o'clock and all I've done is train.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If you couldn't run anymore, what sport would you do?
Run.
Okay.
Find a
way, yeah. Find a way.
If I have one leg, I've always thought about it. One leg, I'll just run with an aesthetic leg. But honestly, if I couldn't run anymore, if I God's like you can't run anymore, anything happens, I'll be like, I'll do Muay Thai. Muay Thai, definitely. Muay Thai. Yeah, I love fighting. It's like gives you the same. You physically exhaust you. I find there's an all round sport where you're working on everything: endurance, aerobic, anaerobic, strength, flexibility, and it's great mentally for you too because it makes you think. It's very strategic as well. So Muay Thai will be my second go-to.
All right, you touched on it before. You said God, and I want to kind of touch on the area of consciousness. And what do you think we are?
What we are? Is whoever we want to be.
Whoever we want to be.
So I come from an Orthodox background. My family's very religious, especially my mum. So we used to go to church every Easter. We'd have all the icons in the house. Ikonas is what they're called. I respect that a lot. In fact, I've actually got a tattoo here, so I'll just show it quickly.
Yeah.
So if you can see, that's Eos Konstantinos. So it's kind of a stamp by God on the bread that you get from Jesus, and every bread has a stamp.
Yeah. And
it's the mark. So what we are is basically, I see us as humans.
Okay.
I do believe in the afterlife. I do believe once we pass, it's not the end all, like that's it.
Yeah.
I believe there is an afterlife and we are taken care of in that afterlife.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if we're a bad person? Like, what if we kill someone or something and...
Are you burning in hell, man? No, joking.
No,
you don't. No.
Damn, bro.
Look, if you're...
We've got a few dead bodies in the back.
Bad people, no one... It's hard to say, man. Like, look, there is a lot of evil in the world. Yeah. And you hear a lot of things that do happen that you think is unimaginable because as a good person, you read that stuff and you're like, oh, how can this happen?
Yeah, right.
what happens is I honestly don't. I don't know. Like I don't really believe in hell. I don't believe like that. I don't know what to say, to be honest.
Do you
Like
think humans create their own hell? They create their own suffering, or do you think in the center of everyone is like we can change whatever's going around us?
we could change it where it goes around us. I reckon everyone does have their own personal hell. To be honest,
Okay.
no one is actually perfect. We all have that inner demon in ourselves that kind of like is our own self destruction. The
Okay.
thing is, there is a lot of ways to kind of like mediate it.
Okay.
Look, man, like when you say people are people evil, or do people have a mental disorder too? That's the thing
Yeah,
too.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Are people actually evil, or do they suffer from a mental disorder that makes them that disorientated
Yeah.
and do shit like that? Like that's what I think too. Like, so if someone's got a mental disorder, and let's say I don't want to say this, but like, rapes and kills a woman, to be honest, like sure, what their actions was evil, and I do believe that's something that can be unforgiven.
Yeah.
But maybe they're just deranged. But if
Yeah, it's a really sensitive
hard.
topic. It's
Yeah.
there was I think there was a rape case recently with a guy in Australia, and yeah, like there's always questions of the judicial system. You know, are they tough enough, or yeah, it's
Yeah,
political, man. Like
it's very political.
yeah,
Look, there's a lot of countries that'll castrate people like that. So I think,
we're lucky to live in Australia.
yeah,
That's for sure.
100%. So I think Australia's a bit. Honestly, I think Australia's a bit too lenient with that kind of shit, to be honest. But that's my own opinion.
How did coronavirus impact you at all, or
Training.
yeah, training wise?
So look, Corona affected a lot of people in training, but also in other aspects. So I was fortunate enough not to be the ones that get impacted the most. I was working during the time because the banks were considered the essential services.
Yeah.
And also I worked with business lending, so I saw a lot of heartbreaking things where businesses would shut their doors because they can't make loan repayments. And a lot of people like going through divorces and going down bad paths like drugs, alcohol. So it's affected a lot of people. For me personally, I have to say I'm very lucky that it didn't impact me. With my training wise, of course, I couldn't go to the gym, I couldn't do anything, but I found alternatives. I was doing like bicycles with bricks. I was doing stupid shit. Like I was doing a lot of stuff that like if you love training, you'll find a way. That's all I can say. You don't need proper equipment. You do need proper equipment, but you don't need that kind of thing. You can always find a way.
Always find the way, yeah.
And then when the gyms did open, you go back to the gym, you're like, shit, like I can do my workouts using two equipments rather than prior to Corona when I was using a million machines. So you kind of feel a bit spoiled. But yeah, if there's a will, there's a way. That's all I can say. There's a will, there's always a way with anything you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. And calisthenics?
Yeah, so
the new trip, that's the new.
yeah, so I've recently started calisthenics with my missus.
Okay.
Let's just say I'm very, very shit at it and realized how weak I am with my own body control, but I highly recommend calisthenics.
Yeah. Okay.
I highly recommend it because it doesn't just teach you, it makes you stronger in different aspects, but it also teaches you how to control your own body.
Okay.
Which is amazing. You become more one with your body and understanding how it operates through calisthenics, I reckon.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah.
What are some of the things they teach you in?
Oh, they teach you a lot of. So first of all, they teach you a lot of stuff that you think wouldn't be calisthenics. Like they'll get you to do different types of push-ups, different type of ab workouts, and they'll get you on the bars and the monkey bars. They'll get you to do swinging. They'll get you to do a lot of wrist strength and shoulder strength too.
Okay.
But at the end of it, I'm passed out. Like I'm gasping for air. Like my muscles are burning. But then 3 days later, you realize, shit, I feel better. I feel more flexible. I can do more kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we see I think gymnasts are some of the strongest people in the world. Like when they're at the Olympics, yeah, they're just incredible. How much balance they have. Yeah, it's awesome to watch.
100%. They're very strong, man.
Yeah.
Gymnasts are crazy. They're like,
yeah,
and the most ripped too. They're very ripped.
Yeah, they have a lot of muscle mass. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like for sure. And so you mentioned your next challenge. So are you in training? Are you training for your next challenge now, or?
I am. So I'm got the 100 kilometer coming up in about 3 weeks and 1 day.
Yeah.
So I have to take in consideration 1 week of tapering.
Okay.
So I do have 2 solid weeks of actual training. I'm not going to do the best that I think I'm going to do, but I will do pretty okay in it.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't had much time to train from my Ironman to the Wilson's Prom 100 kilometer.
Yeah.
But I'm using this race as kind of a training basis for the 100 mile in July. So this is kind of, I use this one as a training session. We'll see how I pull up, man. I'm probably going to pull up like shit, but doesn't matter.
That's all good. Do you write down anything? Like, you reflect at all, or?
So every time I finish a training session, I have a journal and I write in my journal what I've done. So the day, so like what if I ran, how fast it was, and the pace, and then I'll do strength, how long I spent there, then my miscellaneous training, which is the swimming, cycling, Muay Thai, calisthenics. So I've got about 3 full journals and dated. I started that during COVID just to kind of track on where I am and see. I just love writing down training logs and seeing what I'm doing, to be honest. Yeah.
Has that helped you looking back, and you can see all the times?
Let's just say ever since I've written, I've never looked back on one page.
Yeah, right.
So like, I think I always have it in my head, like, okay, I'm going to use this to find out where I can improve and I can do it. But once you finish a training session, I'm big on time, but I'm also big on actually just distance.
Okay.
And completing it, to be honest. So I'm a very non-statistical person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is not good. I reckon if you're reaching for an actual time in a race, you need to know where you are, where you need to improve, and what kind of other training you need to incorporate, whether it be speed, hills, or another long run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the main thing that you're looking out for? Like, when you're on a run, are you just purely distance, or anything else you're looking out for? Or?
So I use something called Strava.
Okay.
So it's kind of so I always turn that on when I run to find out what my actual average pace is.
Yeah.
So I've already got in my head the distance I want, whether it be 16, 20, or 25 Ks.
Yeah.
And then during the run, I look at my pace and see what my pace is. So I know usually if I'm doing a good pace, like let's say 4:12, I should maintain it. If I'm going a bit slower, 4:20, I should kind of like start picking up a pace. And then judging on the pace, I'll also be like, all right, I'm going pretty slow today, so I'm going to pick a route with a lot of hills. So I'm going to do hill training. Okay. Yeah. So, but if I'm doing a really good pace and I feel good, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to do a fast, just flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever run against a kangaroo or something, like a run against an animal, or you see an elephant there, you try to outrun it, bro, or some shit like that? Or?
If I see a kangaroo, I'm thinking, fuck, I better hope it doesn't kick me in the head or something. But I've seen a lot of animals on my way. I've seen snakes, a fair few snakes.
Yeah, right, okay.
I've never seen a kangaroo, actually. It'd be interesting to see what they do. I'm actually pretty scared they're going to run after me. And kangaroos are fucking fast, man. They can do 3 hops and they've already got me.
For sure,
yeah.
For sure. Foxes?
I've seen a few foxes, but foxes are interesting. They're very they're considered predators, but when they see a human, they shit themselves. They just run away. So foxes, I've seen stray dogs. I've been chased by when I was running in Greece a lot in Cyprus. So
that's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of stray animals there in Greece. Yeah.
Tell us about because how many marathons have you run? Do you know roughly at the top of your head?
Yeah, so all up probably with half marathons. I've run about 3 half marathons and I've run about 12 marathons and 3 ultras.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of them, so my marathons are my road marathons are usually Melbourne, but I do a lot of trail running.
Okay.
So I've done Great Ocean Road Marathon, I've done the Wall of China, I've done Mount Olympus, and I've also done Machu Picchu, the Inca Trail in Peru.
Wow.
So usually with those marathons, they're considered marathons, but when you're doing altitude of like I think it's about 13,000 feet, it feels like more like 100K or something. Yeah.
Really, that bad?
Yes.
So what
Yeah.
was that? Is like no oxygen or something, or
Yeah, so the hardest marathon I did was the Inca Trail. It's considered one of the world's hardest marathons.
Yeah.
It's a 4-day hike with a cutoff time of 9 hours.
Okay.
So you start on the Inca Trail and you end up in Machu Picchu, where the actual pyramids. It's amazing there. I highly recommend visiting Peru. It's the most beautiful country, clean, and the people there are just so. They're different people. It's all about generosity and simplicity, and you just feel that vibe. So that marathon took place in a village past Cusco. So Cusco is already about, I think, 2,300 feet above sea level.
Okay.
So once you get there, you already kind of have to climatize. So there's less oxygen in the air. So I remember getting there. As soon as I got there, I started getting immense headaches. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to try to climatize fast and go for a run.
Okay.
I remember going for a 500-meter run from the hotel to the milk bar, and I was just out of breath. I was cooked. My legs were burning. 3 days had passed. I couldn't sleep at night because it was just so much. It's like breathing, but you're not breathing.
Okay.
I spoke to the actual the organizer, who's actually done this event a fair few times. And I said to him, look, man, I don't think I can complete this marathon. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I feel disorientated when I get up. Like, I can't breathe. I can't do anything. He's like, don't worry. This is what happens. He goes, like, give it a week and you'll be fine. So it's amazing what the body does. So the body can always adapt to something.
Okay.
So my body adapted to to that kind of altitude.
Yeah. And
then the race began. So the race started at 2 a.m. I don't know why. I chose at 2 a.m. I think I wanted to make sure people completed in time. We were camping in the mountains, so there's absolutely no street lights. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
And you hear it. All you hear is an air horn. So you get your headlight, you put your headlight on, you're grabbing your clothes, you're putting them on. It's minus 2 degrees.
Chaos.
Yeah, it's chaos, man. You have to start in the mountains too, so it's minus 2 degrees too. So you got all this stuff on and you begin the race. So you start off there. There's no track. It's just mountains. So there's no road or anything. So all you have is a light in your front of your face and you're making sure you don't fall and kill yourself.
Okay.
So the graph is basically you start 2,300 meters. You got 5,000, then you go down 3,000, you go up at 6,000.
Yeah.
And then from then on, you go down, you go up to Derduin's Pass, which is the pinnacle, and it's about 13,000 plus feet. And once you get there, like the sun's out, still very cold. You're above the clouds. You can see the cloud mist underneath you, and it's basically breathing through a straw. So what I remember was, I can't remember the race properly. Like, it's bits and pieces, but I remember every time I took 2 steps, I would be gasping for air. Like, my vision was a bit impaired.
Man, that's intense. Yeah, that's intense.
But once you start going down again and there's more oxygen in the air, you feel like it's a breath back. So you feel back alive. So you can keep going. That's what I'm trying to say too. So what I can say about, I know this is off topic, but with an ultra or marathon, the pain always comes in waves.
Okay.
You will never go through, every time you experience something in a marathon, half marathon, over an ultra, in that, always remember something. When you're going through a pit of struggle, you're going to bounce back again.
Okay.
And always have in the back of your head, you will finish no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had the thought that you weren't going to finish a race?
Yeah, I did. I've had that actually a fair few times. So I had that for Mount Olympus when I first did it. That was my second marathon and my first trail marathon. I actually had to qualify for it. So I did that race in 2016 in the honor of my grandfather who passed away.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to be like, all right, I'm going to do this marathon for him. I needed prerequisites. So the first prerequisite was doing an actual full marathon and 2 half trail marathons. I did those. I completed them. I got to the Mount Olympus in Greece. I was competing against elites, like people that were like running marathons in 2 hours and 17 minutes. Solomon sponsored athletes. So I was like, shit, like I think I'm out of my comfort zone here.
Yeah.
And I was wearing road runners, and I remember one of the Greeks coming up to me. He's like, "Are those your runners?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they are." He's like, you're not going to make it. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, I'm not going to make it. He's like, with those runners, if you run this, no matter how good you are, you're not going to make it. They're going to shred your runners. So you're not going to complete it. And I'm thinking, fuck, you're a prick. But anyway, that's honesty, I guess. Thanks for telling me, you bastard. And this was one day before my marathon too. So finding proper runners then is near to impossible. I remember being in the hotel and I'm like, shit, fuck. Like I've done all this and I'm not going to complete the marathon. Anyway, when the marathon started, I went through waves like myself. Like the first 10Ks was fine. Yeah. Got to the 15K when you're up in the mountains and altitude starts to get in your hand. You don't understand it firsthand. Yeah. I started panicking a bit. I'm like, shit, like I'll finish it, but I'm not gonna make the cutoff time, which is 10 hours. Okay. I thought to myself, I'm gonna fail this. Like I can't believe what I've done. But then as you put one footstep forward, your mind changes. Yeah, you change. You're like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Then you start running and you run. And at 30Ks, my soles are ripped on my runners, but you just keep running and then you're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna complete this. Not only am I gonna complete this, I'm gonna complete this before the cutoff time. And I'm telling you, man, the mind's a mess. The mind is something that can push your body to anything. So yeah.
Yeah, respect to that for sure.
Thanks.
For sure. So, okay, so you kind of been around the country for a little bit, like what's your favorite place?
Apart from my home place, Greece and Cyprus, probably Peru.
Peru, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I love Peru, man. They're so cute, the little Peruvian people. But it's very clean and honest place, and something about it's magical, like being in the mountains, especially Cusco there. Yeah.
Any crazy things happen when you're overseas? You get robbed, get kidnapped, or something?
Fortunately, none of that happened to me, so I'm very fortunate. Craziest thing.
Because that has happened to. There's a few people. Yeah, he got one of my guests. He got mugged.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he got mugged. Yeah, so.
Is you alright?
They just took his money. And,
fuck yeah! You got to be careful. Yeah, none of that happened to me, which is good. I've had stray dogs chase me when I'm going for my morning runs, but apart from that, nothing too extreme has happened to me.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Okay, I guess it's like if you kind of where you're going and nothing bad will happen. You just got to keep your wits about you. I guess.
The Greeks say something called damatya sudesera, which means have 4 eyes, 2 here and 2 in the back. So don't be oblivious when you're in a foreign place. Always make sure you got your stuff and you're staying close to the crowd and you don't do anything stupid, especially when you're drinking and stuff.
Is there within the Greek culture? Is there not the third eye, like lucky eye?
Yeah, the evil eye. They believe if you're starting to feel under the weather, that someone's kind of matyasid you, which means they've given you the evil eye.
Yeah, right.
And you can speak to someone, usually the older generation, like the grandmas or the mums, they would do some sort of chant and it gets rid of the evil eye. Personally,
do you know what the chant is?
No, I don't know the chant. Honestly, I don't. If I get a headache or a migraine, I'm getting Nurofen, I'm not calling up my mum and be like, hey, mum, can you read me a chant? I'm going to say Nurofen and go to bed. But it could happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome, man. And all right, so what's your favorite exercise? What exercises do you training at the gym at the moment? And
yeah, so I do the stock standard weight training, so push, pull, legs day.
Yeah.
Favorite exercise would probably be deadlifts. I love deadlifts.
Okay.
I love doing compound exercises, so I do a lot of isolated muscles, of course bicep, curl, tricep, and all that stuff, just to get the pump. You have to, man. Or you go to the gym and not get a pump and become a hero. But I love compounds. So I love doing a lot of military press, shoulder, bench press. I hate squats because my legs are chicken legs, but I've started doing leg day. I'm a bitch when it comes to leg day, but it has to be done. So even though if it's just a bar, the 20-kilo bar, that happens.
Yeah, man. Who's your favorite bodybuilder? Do you have any?
I actually, honestly, good question actually, because that's another fascination I have. I watch a lot of documentaries on bodybuilders in the day in their life with them. One of my favorites is Kai Green. Reason being is I think he's one of the most aesthetic people, but also he's very unique.
He's very unique, guy, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah,
mate, he's
yeah.
he's an artist. He's an artist. The fact that he does shows with a mask on and uses his body for artistry, I reckon that makes him more. I see him better like that than I do as a bodybuilder. And I used to watch documentaries on the way he lives, and the way he lives is so fascinating. He's one of the most iconic bodybuilders, but he lives with the meaning of simplicity. He lives in a one bedroom apartment, very small especially for a fucking 300 kilo man like that. I don't know how much he weighs, but he's huge. And he has very simple kitchen appliances. He works in the ghettos. He helps the community. He goes to his local gym. He doesn't drive he might sometimes, like I would too if I was making that much money, but I think he doesn't drive that many, such a prestige car. He's a very honest person, and I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's weird. I love weird people.
Yeah. But I don't think he's ever won a Mr. Olympia.
Nah. Unfortunately, he's in the same generation as Phil Heath.
Phil Heath, yeah.
Yeah. Look, honestly, I don't know why. I think it's ridiculous that he hasn't won a Mr. Olympia, to be honest. But I guess it is what it is. Phil Heath must just be more I'm no professional, but he must be more structured and so forth. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you follow UFC at all?
Yeah, I follow UFC. Yeah. I do follow it. I'm not a massive fan. I don't follow it as much as everyone else does, but I do follow it.
You watch a fight, yeah.
Yeah, I watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to send you my condolences, man, because you go for Richmond, yeah?
Fuck you. Yeah, let's just say, yeah. Who do you go for?
Sydney.
Oh,
it's like double. All right, podcast is over now.
Fuck, I didn't know you were a Sydney supporter.
Yeah.
Nah, good win, but man, is it 3 in a row now?
I think 3 in a row, yeah. Yeah,
it might be. Yeah, you might have had a comeback, man.
Yeah,
I remember when you guys used to be a fucking dynasty. Remember?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think we got a few young kids in at the moment, so
yeah,
they're doing
pretty good, man. If you guys keep it up, your team chemistry, you're gonna fucking That's all I can say. But nah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, right. And did you go to any grand finals or any?
Oh no, I haven't been to any grand finals, but I do watch them. Yeah, I do watch footy. I love footy. I find football very fascinating, especially compared to soccer.
Yeah.
I actually consider football the perfect sport for an all-round athlete. You need every sort of fitness component to be a football player. You need to be fast.
It's tough, isn't it? Yeah.
You need to be fast, fit, agility, strength, explosive, very coordinated.
Yeah,
and you also have to be able to be game smart too. Read everything, understand. I love stuff like that.
So, when you compare football and, well, they're both football, but AFL rules and football, what do you reckon? What's the difference? What skills do you need for each?
Oh well, football is actually it's a very artistry game, I think too.
Yeah.
So you do need to be very smart and switched on. I think with AFL compared to football is you have to be able to read the unknown and unexpected because you are using your arms. It's a high game, low game. You have to be able to be a bit more read game smart and understand. Understand how unpredictable things can go.
Yeah. Because
you would know yourself, how many upsets or have there been via grand finals and matches or comebacks in men's comebacks. There's been way more men's comebacks in AFL than there has in football because the game is in itself is very unknown. And I also think I've noticed it a lot AFL. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a massive fan. I'm not a fanatic. I don't believe my 2 cents means anything. But what I've noticed with AFL is that once a team catches on fire, it's very hard to put them out. Yeah. It's hard. Mm. And I find that fascinating too. I'm like, how can a team, and they're pretty big sides, once they, even how far back they are in a game, once they catch fire, they just keep going and going and going. You're like, shit, like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like I think like Geelong were dominant, and then Hawthorn was strong, and then it's
It's funny sport.
it's
man.
like a in cycle sort of thing. Yeah, for sure. And darts or lawn bowls?
Darts.
Darts.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you play darts? Have you ever played darts?
Sometimes, but probably I've never played lawn bowls. And
You never played lawn bowls?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think it's for old people
Okay.
in white suits, but it could be fun. But I'm more of a darts good. Like you fling in and try to get a bullseye. Make sure you don't hit anyone in the back of their head or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you play a bit of squash as well, don't you?
Yeah. So squash is a sport that me and my old man play. We try to play every week. Been doing that since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
He's a freak. I'm pretty good, but I'm not as competitive as him in that. So I don't want to go smash my head on the wall or go dive on the floor. He does, so he can go do that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's like all the wrist sort of.
Yeah, it's like chess
motion.
actually. It's like it's in the wrist, but it's also got to understand the position too.
Precision, yeah.
Like you're a tennis player. You're actually a very, very, very good tennis player. One of the best I know, actually, to be honest. Like I've seen your videos, and you're like, "Fuck, what were you ranked?"
Like 400. My highest ranking was 400, but I mean,
that's fucked, man. That's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you understand, like, I don't know about tennis, but with squash, you got to understand how to read where the ball's going to go. So you need agility. You need to know, okay, once I get this, what kind of stroke will I need to kind of beat my opponent? Is that right?
You got to think a few moves ahead, right?
Yeah,
you got to be
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Who wins out of you and your dad?
Oh, my dad. Yeah, let's just say I like I said,
he's got that over you, yeah. Like
mental edge is a motherfucker, to be honest, right? Especially when he's indirectly insulting you just because to make you lose and put you in a bad headspace. It gets to you.
No worries, man. Well, we hit an hour. I reckon we might call it in for the night.
Beauty. No worries, man.
And how can people follow you? If people want to follow you on Instagram or they want to...
Yes, I got it. My Instagram is... we'll probably have to write it down because it's half in Greek, but it's lemonipita.stavi. I'll
type it up.
I'll type it up. I don't know if you can find me. But yeah, also if anyone ever wanted some training advice or running or anything, I'm more than happy to shoot them a message. I do coach a kid who's doing a triathlon in the end of this year. Yeah. So I'm more than happy to hear people and help them out. Like I said, running is a great tool, great thing to do. And always remember, just keep moving. That's it. Keep your blood flowing and just be happy. Yeah, man.
Thanks, man, for the podcast.
Nah, thank you for having me, Kristian, man. Like it was really good, man. Like beauty.
Thanks, guys.